afternoon, my name is Kirsty Dignam and I'm here to look at the energies for today's Monday's musings on April Fool's Day. Last few days have literally been, well, for want of a better phrase, no joke. There's been a lot of shifting, a lot of potential to look at where we may be taking ourselves too seriously. And in doing so, not seeing the seriousness of the matter or the sacredness of the matter. Now, April Fool's Day, the clown energy, the fool in the tarot, the heyoka, the sacred wisdom of keeping our energy light in potentially dark times, of being open to new experiences, of recognizing even in the things that we know, there is still more to be discovered. But finding the beauty in that as well, finding the joy in that, in the participation of what is actually occurring around us. The last few days, I feel like I've been on a big quest, if you will, a big soul's journey into where we may be living, where we may be moving to. And there have been moments when I've had my hopes raised and then crushed, moments where I feel low and then lifted, something's come along and lifted me up. There are moments where I have sought other answers and questioned what is in front of me, even though it has been what I wanted to hear, knowing that something was off inside. There have been moments this week where I have had the opportunity to really look at manifestation for the participation that it is, for the collaboration that it is, without the expectations. Well, not without the expectations, with the expectations, but not them being the be all and end all. Going beyond that and re-establishing the relationship that we have with our own connection to ourselves. There have been times this weekend where I have literally said, if this is meant to be, great. If it isn't, please show me. And I've been shown. I've been shown things that would have potentially come up later down the line, because I've been open to the knowing that not is as it seems all the time. The willingness to see beyond what I understand. I've always been that person that would pull things apart to see how they work. As a child, I wanted to know why, not what, why. Myself included. And this weekend, with everything that has occurred, on the one hand, I could find it very egoically frustrating. On the other hand, I could find it very spiritually evolving. But beyond it all, it's been a wonderful opportunity to see how I work. And that is what we're facing this week. How well we can hold space for all the different versions of ourselves. And I see the analogy of Wurzel Gummidge with all the different heads. How humble we can be in recognizing that in our imperfections lies the perfection, cliche as it sounds. In our journey resides the destination. In figuring out what we don't want, we often come to the conclusion of what we do. And throughout all of this is the potential to continuously return like the fool on these journeys of our own soul's discovery to the vibration that makes us uniquely who we are. And it's that that's underneath it all, that uniqueness, the importance of that. Today, my hair is very all over the place doing its own thing because I was very undecided whether or not to wear it back in a bun. And I looked very professional, very professional. And then when I took it down, it became very wild and it's kind of done its own in-between thing. And this week that feels really quite vital that we recognise where we may be taking ourselves too seriously and the impact that that is having on our sacredness. Where we may be taking ourselves too sacredly and the impact that that is having on our joy and our experience of life. And with all things, there will always be the other side. So where we may not be taking ourselves sacredly enough in the process. There's a real difference between a clown and Heyoka energy. There's a real difference between a fool that doesn't know he's a fool and a fool that is aware of just how foolish they are being. Big difference this week, and it's that next level of evolution that is being offered to us all by embracing the new. And when I say embracing, what I mean is fully embodying the new, which we cannot do if we have expectations. We cannot do if we have solely just expectations. If we're going to have expectations, let's keep it balanced. Let's have, for everything that could go wrong, something could go right. For everything that could go right, something could go wrong. Let's have that fully embodied expectation this week and see where that may lead us. Let's recognize that everything that is occurring is a step towards another step, towards another step, towards another step. There's a lot of potential this week to not take that leap because we're trying to figure things out. And I myself can really relate to that. There's been times over the last few years in particular where I haven't taken the leap because I haven't had all the answers. This weekend I took the leap and it didn't work. And I took another step and another step and another step. And I'm still none the wiser. But my God, I have loved manifesting, showing up, riding the energy. Okay, this way, Kirsty, that way, Kirsty, working with the directions of my higher self and really re-establishing that magic, that connection, that potential. And that is there this week. It is going to require that we reflect. It is going to require that we release any rigid structures. We have Mercury going into the shadow period, which is often more intense than the retrograde. We do have solar eclipses on the 8th of this month. We have a lot going on this month, but we always do. This month we are being really guided to, rather than externally focus on what is going on, to really not even focus solely on internally, but recognize they are one and the same. Externally, what happens internally affects us and the steps that we take as a result, so that we can work with this energy, not against, not solely for, not without, but with, balanced. We are still in that energy of the Libra full moon. We are still in the energy of the justice or the Libra vibration for the whole year, even though it is linked to strength. The strength, the healing, the manifestation, all of it comes from alignment, balance to who we are. Which brings me on to the next bit. There is a vast amount of comparison going on. I felt it myself. And when we compare, what's happening is we're feeling insecure in who we are. So we're seeking validation outside. We're seeking outer worth rather than self-worth. And again, all part of the process, but completing that circle. Okay, I'm doing this because of da-da-da-da-da. What's being shown here? Thank you, and returning. Being that complete embodied fool. The fool is at different stages. And yes, we can not know where we're going, and yes, we can be open to the new, but we can experience things and in each moment allow that to go through its process and become something different, something new, something complete, something whole within our own perception of it. And this week, that's what we're really being asked to focus on, the soul's path, the soul's journey. And how connected we actually are to that, or how much we are expecting other energies, other tools, other people, other external situations to invoke that, to again validate that within us. If we continue to look at someone else or something else to see where we are on our own path, our trajectory is only going to go one way, and that is the way of the person with which we compare ourselves to. Bringing it back home this week is really going to be key, to really feel into where you're at. I hear the song, Where's My Head At? And that, yes, absolutely. So April Fool's Day, the Fool in the Tarot, is linked to Aquarius. And there is a lot of energy there about being the humanitarian, trying to serve this greater cause, this greater vision, if you will. I think this weekend there was a new star born in the galaxy, or something along those lines, which was what was seen last week with this whole new chakra energy. There is a new vibration trying to come in, like there is always, and we are adapting to that. We are bringing forth, we are embodying, we are transmitting now this higher version of our own souls, on whatever level that is being asked to us. But emphasis is, it is new. Okay, so we can use what we have used so far as our own foundations, but again holding space for what was, what is, and what will always be, all in one go. Holding space for the old, holding space for the new, allowing that to cause necessary friction within us so that we can actually bring forth something different now. It is important that we be aware of what is going on for us within the greater vision as well. If we're not aligned to ourselves, how are we going to align to the greater vision? You know, it's okay, it's beautiful to find the beauty in things. You know, one of the shamanic practices I work alongside is the beauty way, and it's actually linked to serpent, it's linked to the earth, it's linked to Pachamama, it's linked to our physical body, and it is about shedding our stories, and to do so we find the beauty way. And that does mean to find the beauty in things. However, we have to feel in order to do that. So this weekend, like I say, there has been ups and downs, and those downs have been just as necessary as the ups. Our shadow is just as necessary as our light. The beauty way isn't to solely focus on the nice things. The beauty way is to walk through this life, to experience it, to participate with life, to feel things, to acknowledge things, to go through this process and find the beauty of it all in ourselves and the changes and the stories that we shed as a result. Only then can we focus on the greater picture. To be of service starts with the self, always starts with the self. To do our own, I want to say our own bidding, our own work, to be in alignment with ourselves, to be honest and authentic with ourselves. When we do the malarky, the more we are in that energy, the more we are in our own light, the more visible we are then to other lights and other energies that can help us. So if you're really asking for support this week, start with yourself. What energy am I asking from? What energy am I sharing this from? Am I doing it from a place of comparing myself to another? Am I being authentic in my words? Am I contraindicating the very thing that I'm saying? Really, really, really observing. I see the analogy of being in a house of mirrors. Okay, really seeing ourselves from all angles, all sides, so that we can offer that beauty, that potential up to others. Again, the beauty way is the seeing of all things, watching everything unfold. The beauty way is then not the vision outside, but the vision that we hold within us for everything that is occurring. And the reason I share that is that's when it comes back full circle to manifestation. From that perspective, then we get that real full energy. We don't know what we want. We don't know what we need to manifest. There is no set money, set home, set agenda, set relationship, because in that way we can see how everything is unfolded. I can't remember who it was that said, but there's a quote somewhere floating in the ethos. If you ask yourself in this moment, if you feel into your body and the air that you can breathe and the blood that is pumping around you and everything that is going on, and be completely present in that moment, what is it you need? The chances are nothing. That's the full energy. From that perspective, we're not letting go of what it is we're trying to bring in. We're becoming it. We're becoming open to whatever we now need beyond our own perception, our own views, our own judgments, even our belief of visions and what we think may be asked of us. And that can be petrifying and incredibly exhilarating as well. From that perspective, we're merely asked to show up, to glow up, and to be present. So with that in mind, I'm going to use the Osho Zen Tarot this week to feel into the energies. And I'm going to embody the vibration I just spoke of. We're not going to have any expectations. We're just going to shuffle the cards. What I do feel on the other side is to have no structure at all can also be as unembodied as the Fool. So the Fool knows he's on a journey. He knows that, you know, life is about taking those steps. Just like I know looking into this video, it's going to be about the weekly energies. It's not about surrendering everything over. It's not about having no place in what is being manifested. It's about participating in that. This is what I'm going to do. Today I'm going to wake up, I'm going to go here, I'm going to go there. Show me. You know, conversing with each other this week is really important. Conversing with the universe is really important because it's going to open up a whole new language and dialect with yourself as a result. Okay, so energies this week and how to best navigate them. There will be a return to things that have always worked, as you can hear in that sentence. You know, I'm returning to what this video is going to be about, and there will be that, and there almost needs to be that, a complete continual return. Okay, what was the purpose of this? Otherwise there could be a potential to get lost in the light, the hedonistic, I'm just gonna do whatever I'm guided to do, but also lost in the darkness that can come with that. You know, a lot of the times if we have or feel we have no control over anything, eventually that can become quite a dark place where we feel we're at the whim of others, be that people, situations, the universe itself. So having structures that work for you this week, but also being open. Again, it's holding space for both energies. For both energies. For the physical and the spiritual. Knowing that they are one and the same, but there is a third way that holds space for both of them, and that is, and always has been, the body. Okay, energies this week. My hands ache. They feel as if I'm grasping for something, holding on to something, that I've been overstretched with what I do, what I give. And that I can definitely take on board personally. And what I would say with all of these readings, if it resonates, it resonates. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Okay, really important to recognise what messages are for you, what messages are for others. Acknowledging that a lot of the times they are one and the same, but also being aware there will be clearer cut insights that are just for you this week. Sometimes by sharing them, we can see the truth of that, and doing so humbly. Okay. Energies this week and how to best navigate them. Right. I'm going to stop there. Yes, I'm going to stop there. And there feels like, again, it's that knowing that there needs to be some structure. There needs to be a line drawn in regards to certain aspects this week. Underneath it, we do have transformation. We do have the death card underneath it, because there does need to be, in order for something to change, there needs to be a point where we say no, or yes, or look at what we're saying no to is what we're actually saying yes to, and vice versa. So an example, my home, yes, I don't know what's going to happen, but I do know I don't want to stay here long term, and I'm holding the space for both. I'm holding the space for the discomfort of being in a place I don't want to be, the excitement of not knowing where that's going to lead, the uncertainty, all these different emotions, all these different colours, these different energies. Holding them all, allowing them all to ignite each other, transform each other, frustrate each other, arouse each other, excite each other within our own body is what's actually going to cause the transformation. Feeling all these different things. It's okay. You can feel all these different things. You can change your mind at the last minute. You can live life. You can be foolish, or what we see as foolish. You can be guided by what feels light, what feels right for you and your path. Now, underneath we have the trust card. So yeah, not surprised to see that. But what I'm going to do is the Lovers card is actually upside down, along with the Moon card. So the decisions that we feel we need to make, or decisions that we can't make, or, you know, the illusion of feeling like we have no choice, or that it's all down to us, or that we're separate from what is going on, or that it's all relying on our shoulders, whatever they may be, letting go of the control of that, flipping the narrative, knowing that whatever is occurring outside of you is potentially occurring inside of you as well. What decisions do you need to make based on that, based on your emotions, based on where you are in your own cycle? Okay, so energies for this week, how to best navigate them now. Yeah, now that's much more optimistic. Yeah, when we can really feel into that potential, what we're actually being shown, there is an opportunity here of flowering, of the Queen of Pentacles, of being really, really grounded in who we are. Is that's coming full circle now. So before we just had the shadow in the transformation card, it just looked like an outline. We couldn't see what was being transformed. We couldn't see what was changing. Once we realise it is our own emotions that are helping us make the decisions that are right for us, and how important that is on our path, rather than seeing it as foolish, seeing it as our own internal satellite navigation, if you will, our own guidance system. Once we can do that, we recognise that the outline that is being transformed, the shadow energy, is actually us and our own physical place here, are returning to who we are. Being grounded in that. Everything is an opportunity to see how we see things, to see where we actually are in life, to see whether or not we're being authentic in our words and in our actions. There's been a few things I've seen over social media the last weekend that's been quite contradictory. People saying one thing but actually doing another as they're saying it, and I think, this is really fucking with my head. This is really like bringing it full circle and recognizing I'm doing the same thing. I am doing exactly the same thing in my behavior, in my actions, in my views, in my thoughts, exactly the same thing. And seeing that as the beautiful opportunity that it is to go, okay, return to self. What I also hear is that song, Return to Sender. So before we look at the cards, I'm going to show you the crystals that I have in my pocket. Those that know me know that I like the full. These are my little bags. I have a Sacred 7 here, or a Melody Stone. Now this is one of the only crystals that actually has 7 different types of crystals in there. You have ruby, you have rutilated quartz, smoky quartz, normal quartz. I can't remember them all, I do apologise. But it's really a great crystal for bringing all aspects back together. Very worth looking into. Yeah, and I have that in my left pocket, in my receiving pocket, because whatever we are receiving this week, it is an opportunity to bring aspects of ourselves back that may have been off doing whatever, healing for other things, or I don't know about anyone else. The last few weeks, gosh, I've had some dreams. Yes, I've been very busy in my dream time, very busy with a lot of energies that have been in the news of late, and I'm just going to leave it there because it feels quite sacred. There are times when we are asked to hold space for messages, for healing, for changes in the world, and it is tempting to, and that I have no judgment here. This is my path, my part of the journey, and for me it's very tempting to share because I want to belong. I want to say, oh yes, I'm doing that too. Wow, isn't that uncanny? And there are other times when there's a real sacredness to holding space for whatever you're being asked to do, and to allow yourself to have that. When we share, sometimes we can really dilute the experience. When we share, sometimes we're doing it to belong, sometimes we're doing it for that other person, for that other situation, and what happens is we stop receiving. We end up giving more than we're receiving. So making sure that that's in balance this week, that we're sharing through us first, that we're getting what we need first, so that we can allow all those parts to come back to us. On the other side, I have carnelian. There's a beautiful, beautiful piece of carnelian that I picked up from a fete. Absolutely, absolutely stunning. And it reminds me of the eye inside the horse in Kent, I think it is, which I must go and see. Feeling in, it's in my right pocket, yeah, what we give, feeling into our emotions there, feeling into our sacral there, feeling into our Cusco, our balance, our center before giving. Ensuring that we are balanced, ensuring that we are seeing balance as authenticity, seeing self-care and restoring that harmony within us, that melody within us as authenticity, knowing that when we are in that space, what we give is then in that space. There are so many times something will come to me, particularly with Vision Quest, which are a daily thing, go to Asda or any shop, find lots of things. And I want to share, I want to give. Feeling into that first, allowing your body to integrate that first so that you do so from a place of authenticity, recognizing what is for you. This video included. Okay, so 25 minutes, right. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, overall. So we do have that moon card back. Even though we've changed from transformation through to flowering, even though we've recognized it's about our own physical grounding, even though we have acknowledged our place within everything that is being manifested and everything that is being created, we still have the moon card, and that feels really important. We still have those emotions. We still have that calling out of ourselves and each other as a necessary aspect to see past any illusions we might have right now. We still have a wonderful potential to reflect, to go within, to be silent, to look at the vision that we speak of, to ensure that we're embodied in it first before we try and create it. To know that by doing so, it's going to happen automatically. It's not walking our talk, it's seeing our truth this week that's going to be the biggest fundamental change. So on the Monday, we have understanding, and I'm pretty sure this is the Page of Cups, but it could be the Knight of Cups, and I actually knew that this was going to happen. With Osho, I'm never 100% certain of what court card it is. I'm never 100% certain if it's the beginning or the middle, and that feels quite poignant, particularly on the Monday, to understand that they're all part of the process, that we may not know the stage that we're at, but it's all part of acknowledging, that it's an aspect of freedom. It doesn't matter where we may feel we are. It's more valid to know where we're going. It's more important to emotionally feel into what that would, feel like, rather than be stuck looking outside at that freedom, allowing ourselves to have it in our feelings, seeing the wonder of our emotions for the wisdom and understanding that they can give us is what's really going to open that door now. On the Tuesday, 15, 16, 17, 18, we have the, I'm just waiting for the train to go by. We have the past life card here. And this is where I feel almost a mental block, almost a trying to figure things out. There must be a reason for this. There must be a past life for this. There must be a situation that's coming up. It must be ancestral. There must be a logical explanation behind it all. When we talk about past lives, we see them from a continuous parallel perspective. Okay, so yes, it may have happened at such and such a time, but it's also occurring now. So when we examine past lives, we do so to acknowledge what is going on for us, what gifts can be gained, including ancestral healing here. So it's not about getting caught up in the wounds on the Tuesday, more over the gifts. And again, there's that not quite knowing where we are on our path that's coming to light, that this isn't the first time this has happened, where we've questioned our own position in a situation, a relationship, or circumstances, or ourselves. Because there's a lot being unraveled here. There's a lot that we are opening up to here. And this is where I realise that the moon card is actually 17, so it's actually the star card. What I thought was the moon is actually the star, and I love that. You know, if we get too caught up in the structure, in the order of things, we can get really, really lost this week. So I automatically saw the moon, so I automatically thought the moon card. But if we actually really look at the numbers, it's 17 there, so it's the star card. Seeing our vision for the emotional illusion it can bring at times, particularly in regards to where we are on our journey, where we think we should be, and any logical rationale that we've put behind it is going to be key this week, because then Tuesday we recognize that the past lives, the separation from everything that's occurring, the belief that it's our ancestors, the belief that it's, you know, to do with another time or someone else or a different situation, actually that comes to light on the Tuesday, and that's where we have the moon card. That's where we have the moon card in the past lives. So recognizing the illusion there is the views and perceptions that we may have inherited around what the vision is, around who we are, around what we're here to do. Emotionally is going to be key. So when you feel into that, when you allow that to clear, again, letting go of any of the order here, because the next card, I know it's a wand card. It's the creator. I'm pretty sure it's the King of Wands, but it might not be. And it really, really doesn't matter. What matters here is it's the creator. It doesn't matter what stage you're at. Spiritually, with your ambition, with your passion, you are creating. Whether you're at the beginning of something or halfway through or at the end, you are creating the next thing or what it is you are developing at the moment. Manifestation is an ongoing process. It doesn't stop. It's like writing a book and waiting for it to be perfect, or painting a picture and continually adding to it and never finishing it, never believing that it's finished. In that moment, it's done. In that moment, it's been created. In every moment, just like us, we are being created in the image of ourselves as the creator. So come Wednesday, there's some trippy energy. There is some trippy energy. So finding our center in our solar plexus, finding our power and acknowledging that we're part of the creation. We are an important, vital aspect of the relationship between ourselves and our creator, whatever that may be for you, whether that's angelic forces, whether that's God, whether that's yourself, whether that's the earth, recognizing your role in that being reflected back. And there's a little bit of energy there. We may find that our dreams are coming true, literally. Many of them. I'm finding that this past few weeks there's been a lot of situations that are actually physically occurring that I dreamt of 6 months ago, 12 months ago, as I dreamt of them, as clear as day. They're coming. And Wednesday, we could be faced with that potential that things are becoming a lot more clearer in regards to what we're creating and what that says about us. On the Thursday, I know this one. I know the devil. I know the devil when I see it. On the Thursday, I did say Wednesday though, right? So again, still there's that confusion there of where we are. We might know what we see, but do we actually know where we are in that process? So yes, the devil, conditioning. We might know, I've done this again. Yeah, I've inherited this. Yes, this is part of my conditioning. But is that actually affecting us now? In our future, in our past? Is there a difference? What are we actually coming up against here? So here you can see we have a lion in sheep's clothing. What is strength to you? What is divinity to you? What is the feminine to you? Really looking at any conditioning around that on the Thursday. On the Thursday. Okay, really feeling into not what you're surrounded by, much as that can be tempting, but what you're tied to in order to fit in. Recognize the devil when you see it. On the Friday, we have playfulness. So even though it's April Fool's Day today, it isn't going to be until Friday, so 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th of April that we start to feel those things lightening up. But I also feel imposter syndrome on the Friday. This is the day I have the dentist, which is interesting. I also feel imposter syndrome here, like, look at me. This is who I am. Don't take me too seriously. I was saying to a dear friend of mine today, that I tend to joke around things in order to not be taken seriously, in order to not be seen. So really feeling into that on the Friday in particular, and having fun with it, having fun with acknowledging anything that comes to light here. So this is a wand card, and I do believe it's the page or the Knight of Wands. I think it might be the Knight of Wands actually. Again, it really doesn't matter where you think you are. It's how your behavior is coming across that's going to be pivotal on the Friday. Are people going to notice the stars and the sparkles, or the fact that your clothes are see-through, that you can be seen straight through, that you're transparent? Are they going to notice the clown-like face there, or the naked body underneath it all and the vulnerability? Which one will you pick? Either way, lightening it up and having fun with it all is what's actually going to help us continue to move forward, because on the Saturday, right next to it, can I put it there so you can see it? The way that they are out on the desk, is it's that playfulness this week that's actually going to lead into the greatest change. And I love this. So the moon card here, the past lives, almost looks like change zipped up. It almost looks like it's change that has been zipped up. So come the Saturday, by being light, by not taking ourselves too seriously, but that doesn't mean not sacredly, recognizing that joy can be sacred, recognizing that even seriousness that can be sacred, that it can all be sacred. It's that that's actually going to flip the narrative and start to change things. And I feel that, I really feel that. Last week there was a energy center around this area. This week it is going to be around the root chakra and the earth chakra, almost like they are joining together. The yin, the yang in the middle here, but having balance with your own root, your own grounding and your own connection on the earth is what's going to change things this week. And yes, it could be quite intense. It feels as if there's a portal closing, or at least that can be how it feels. Don't be surprised if from the Tuesday through to the Saturday, energies cross over, stories cross over, our views, things like that may change and transition over. From the Tuesday to the Saturday is where the biggest shifts are going to happen. So keeping an eye out for anything that finds itself being revealed on the Tuesday and allowing that to come to a close by the Saturday. On the Sunday we have existence. On the Sunday we have the Magician. On the Sunday we have that humble knowing that we are just a small part of it. That vision that we've held on to, whether it's the relationship we want to manifest, whether it's the view for the world, being in the stillness and the void of recognizing that we are a small part of it. A small part that we play is just as valid, just as unique, just as vast as part of the whole, but a small part nevertheless. There's a big emphasis sometimes on playing small and how it can be a real negative thing and not reaching your potential and, overstretching things. And it can make things really quite heavy, particularly this week. And, it comes from conditioning. The playing small comes from conditioning, but also the playing big to overcome that still comes from conditioning. So recognizing the energy that you're actually coming from this week. When we lighten things up, is it because things have been heavy? Are we coming from the light of what we're trying to achieve, or are we coming from the heaviness, regardless how we do it one way or another? There's an old saying, and it's kind of true really, it doesn't matter what you do, those energies that have raised you will shape how you raise the future, whether you are like them or completely different from them. It is their impact that has constructed who you are. That you can't get away from it. There are some things we just cannot get away from. So if things seem particularly heavy or deep, lightening them up by all means, but concentrating on the light side of it, not the heavy or deeper side. Not lightening things up because they've become heavy. Lightening them up because of the light itself, not the deep shadow behind it. So where are we going with that? Recognizing they are one and the same, but also acknowledging their differences. That feels really, really key. Acknowledging that we are all part of this big vision, but we are all different within that. And then all whole, and then all different, and then all whole. And I see just tunnels after tunnels after tunnels. It's okay to have an ego. It's okay to have an identity. It's okay to have expectations, but also holding space for not having an ego, or releasing some of the identity and letting go of some of the expectations, being all of it, not just one or the other this week. Yes, that could cause a bit of a mind, where am I? Where am I at? So coming back into the center always. knowing you are part of it all and nothing. That's the full energy. And we are really being invited to embody that with the Heyoka from Monday onwards. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 major arcanas in the pack for this week. So the harmony comes from the universal energies, from the fates here. So really, really important that we connect to the conversation that we have with the universe around us, because that's where the harmony comes from. In regards to us on a more human level, on the court card minor arcana level, oh no, sorry, we have that one there as well. Interesting. So we actually have 5 major arcana. So the turning point comes from recognizing the strength and the energies around us. From a human level, the creation comes from recognizing we are the creators of that. We can see what's going on. We can be given this potential, this reading included. What we do with it is what's going to define the outcome for us. Not necessarily for the universe, but for us. Okay, so on a more human understanding here, it is about our emotions. It is about understanding that they are there to bring us joy, no matter how they feel. We could feel really angry, but we're feeling angry because of how we've been treated, because we're out of alignment with the natural joy that we are, that natural energy, that creative force. Okay, so recognizing this week that anything that comes up is coming up to free us emotionally so that we can lighten up ourselves. That doesn't mean to stop taking ourselves seriously, but to convert scared to sacred, to convert the heavier energy to the all-encompassing lighter energy here. It is energy, nothing more, nothing less, and it's up to us to direct that, but we must feel it. We must feel it beyond our imprisoned logical need to understand where it comes from, what it means. Acknowledging that by all means, but only as part of the cycle, because it's only a small part of the vision. Okay, allowing ourselves to feel that, allowing ourselves to move with that, to create with that is what's going to change the game this week. And what is the game that's being changed? Well, recognizing that, as you saw in this video, the confusion between the moon and the star, recognizing here the difference between the life that you have lived, even the life that you might want, to the life that you now have. You can call it past lives, you can call it ancestral, but it feels really important to focus on the impact that has on this life as well this week. It is trippy, and without that anchor of this present moment, it could get quite vast. There's a lot going on in the news about this might happen and that might happen. So coming back to the self always, coming back to your own energy always, recognizing the illusion that is almost being veiled over your vision and the external universal vision as a result, because of the confusion of knowing where you are, because of the confusion of disembodying from this lifetime, from this present moment. Reflect, take time out, be in the silence of your own emotions. Feel into any conditions that you may have about what you should feel, what you should give, how you should react, what you should be manifesting. And that can work both sides. That can be all the positive things that we think we are striving for or doing. Where are they coming from? They're still coming from a conditioning somewhere along the line, and really raveling that back, really unpicking it, not to fix it, but to be aware of it, to be aware where our actions are based from. Allowing that to shift things, to change things, to help us go into the void of, wow, if that's the case, I don't know. Well done. Now let's create some magic. Now let's open up to that grounded potential that wants to come through with that Queen of Pentacles. Now let's let that root chakra and that earth chakra, rather than working against each other, work together to form something pretty damn special this week. Okay. The creator of your own reality, of course. So let's have one card overall for the rest of the week. Oh, itchy ear. Closing my eyes and I'm seeing a new mandala. I'm seeing a new image for a chakra, and it's round and it's like a luminous blue, white, turquoise green, and it's almost like a diamond shape, and it's just incredible. I'm not an artist. If I was, I would draw it. Maybe I should. Being open to different ways that are being asked of you to create this week could be really, really beautiful, because overall the energy we have is the Sun card. It is innocence here, and we have that little cricket card there. So we have the blossoming all around us. Yeah, we have that little cricket, and it reminds me of the cricket from Pinocchio. You know, our conscience, our consciousness, being with that, really feeling into that. How does this feel? Does it feel right? If it doesn't, where am I doing this from? What energy am I doing this from? Being really, really aware and allowing yourself the opportunity to master that by coming face to face with it externally. This week is really going to be key. We need to experience life in order to truly understand it. All of it. Only then are we going to free ourselves. Only then are we, the card underneath, only then are we going to stop feeling like an outsider of it all, trapped in our own mind, trapped in our own bodies, trapped in our own limitations. Okay, so yeah, I've literally picked one more for the one more. It's that energy of calling it quits. No, one more for it, and we have the Chariot here. So really unzipping our animal instinct, our emotions, to see the innocence within it, the awareness that is trying to come out from within it, the enlightened younger Buddha energy that is being born through all of this, the Master. So this card, this Master card, isn't linked to anyone other than Osho. It's not linked to any other tarot card. It's not linked to any other part of the path. It's linked to Osho himself. Recognizing everything that is unraveling this week is an opportunity to see yourself as your own master. Now, I'm really tempted to see what Osho has written about his card. His card. It just feels really quite important to understand his words. Which feels like a nice thing to do as homework, actually, from this reading. If you could write one thing to yourself, yeah, what would it be? Sitting down with pen and paper and really feeling into what you want to say to yourself, what your higher self wants to say to you now. So sitting with the fact that I actually can't find the Master. Interesting. Okay. Here we are. The Master in Zen is not a master over others, but a master of himself. His every gesture and his every word reflect his enlightened state. He has no private goals, no desire that anything should be other than the way that it is. His disciples gather around him not to follow him, but to soak up his presence and be inspired by his example. In his eyes they find their own truth reflected, and in his silence they fall more easily into the silence of their own beings. The Master welcomes the disciples, not because he wants to lead them, but because he has so much to share. Together they create an energy field that supports each unique individual in finding his or her own light. If you can find such a master, you are blessed. If you cannot, keep on searching. Learn from the teachers and the would-be masters and move on. Beyond the mind, there is an awareness that is intrinsic, that is not given to you by the outside and is not an idea. And there is no equipment up to now that has found any centre in the brain which corresponds to this awareness. The whole work of meditation is to make you aware of all that is mind and disidentify yourself from it. That very separation is the greatest revolution that can happen to man. Now you can do and act on only that which makes you more joyous, fulfills you, gives you contentment, makes your life a work of art, a beauty. But this is possibly only if the Master in you is awake. Right now the Master is fast asleep, and the mind, the servant, is playing the role of the Master. And the servant is not even your servant. The servant is created by the outside world. It follows the outside world and its laws. Once your awareness becomes a flame, it burns up all the slavery that the mind has created. There is no blissfulness more precious than freedom, than being a master of your own destiny. And it's that we are potentially facing this week, if we can concentrate on where we are. Take care. Have the most incredible week, and I shall see you when I see you.